Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, germs and viri of all types and sizes, this is I, your bearded wolf god Lobo. Here with a talking head video about Helldivers because I'm not going to reinstall the game that pissed me off so many months ago that I uninstalled it, just to give you guys the graphic for it. Okay, let's talk. Helldivers is in the gamer space chats again for not a good reason. And this is all on the devs. I got into this game because friends bought it for me to play with them to take my mind off of losing my mother a couple of days before this game released. And I fucking loved Helldivers 2. I was having a ball. They released a good game. Buggy. Very buggy. But still good. And half their issues stem from the fact that they were more concerned with pushing out Warbond content than fixing the bugs they had. Like I said, they created a good game. And then after release, when it became popular overnight practically, their brains seemed to leak out of their skulls through their ears. And then when they did start fixing bugs, they created entirely new ones that were equally as irritating or game breaking. The constant server connection issues and dropouts. If they had focused on this, all of it, before starting to give us new war bonds, other than the ones that were there at the game release, then we wouldn't be having this part of the conversation right now. We'd still be having this conversation just about the other half of this conversation, which is nerfs, buffs, and content. They started nerfing weapons that had become meta. This is not how you, because they said they want to change the meta. This is not how you change the meta. You leave the meta weapon alone and buff everything else, or at least a couple other really interesting things to change the meta. And the meta loadout was different depending on, or at least in part, depending on which faction you were playing, the Terminids or the Automatons. Because certain weapons were better for both. Like the incendiary breaker shotgun they just nerfed the fuck out of. And the flamethrowers, which they buffed a couple of months ago for damage output and then just nerfed again. Brains leaked out of ears. They have none left. Now, I've been saying this since they started nerfing weapons and cussing about it. The way you in Pirate Software said it in a video, I don't remember when, or in a stream, I don't remember when. You do not fix the meta by nerfing. And I'm going to repeat myself. You do not fix the meta by nerfing. You fix it by buffing to give the player base more options. And the second they start nerfing stuff, the player base found other ways, would find a new meta, and as soon as the player base found a new meta, the developers would nerf that. I mean, one of the bigger gripes, and some of the player base was toxic about it, is saying what a bunch of crybaby that some of us were, was they nerfed the railguns, which allowed you to essentially one shot the chargers if you hit them in the right spot. More often than not, it was two, but if you hit them in the right spot, you could one shot them. They nerfed it, and you couldn't do that anymore. It would take two shots. But you could redo the settings and add the overcharge to it. Yes, you can. But even the overcharge was nerfed. And even with the overcharge, you could not one-shot the chargers anymore, by and large. And like I said here recently, because they dropped yet a new war bond and new content with the Hive Lords, they buffed the incendiary. They nerfed the incendiary breaker because they were introducing a new incendiary in the new war bond, apparently, from some of the commentary I've read this morning. Again, you do not change the meta by nerfing. You buff. And then they started buffing the wrong things. And by this, I mean they started listening to the minority of the player base that were uber super soldiers that could solo everything on their own with no issues at the highest difficulty levels. And buffed the shit out of the spawn rates for the enemies, including the heavies. So the spawns happen faster, you got more of them. You got more of the littles, you got more of the bigs. And they did that to the Terminates. So a lot of people decided to spend more time on the automaton side. And then lo and behold, they buffed the bots. They increased the drop rates on the most especially on the heavies, the tanks, the devastators, etc., the Hulks. All of this a couple of months after they had nerfed the best weapon in the game outside of the expendable anti-tank launchers for dealing with the big boys. Where's the logic? And the expendable anti-tank launchers became a meta. I don't know if they've nerfed those though, because I haven't been paying attention since I stopped playing. By and large, I just happened to run across the newest one this morning in my homepage on YouTube, and somebody did a video on it. Now let's talk about the other fuck up. Sony trying to make everybody sign up for a PlayStation Network account. Yes, this was a requirement from the beginning, but Arrowhead disabled it because they knew the player base would not grow as much initially with it. But at least that seemed to be the case. It is a PC player. I will tell you, we already have way too many fucking launchers. I am not signing up for the launcher. I'm not signing up for another launcher when I already have Steam, Epic, and Xbox Live, which I never use. Now, if Blizzard had not pissed me off years ago with some seriously shady shit, then I probably would have been playing either Overwatch or Diablo. I was actually just fishing to get into Diablo. Why am I getting? I have this shit off. Why am I getting fucking notifications? Man, I've lost my train of thought. Thank you, notifications from Discord that I have shut off. I do not know why I'm getting notifications when I have the Audible shit shut off. Apparently I forgot to shut something off. But yeah, too many launchers are a thing. It's like solo leveling a Rise. It's a game I want to play, but I'm going to wait until it's available on Steam sometime in the next 2 months or so. I could be playing it now. I could have been playing it a month or more ago if I'd been willing to go through the launcher for the developer. But I was not, because I don't want another goddamn launcher on my machine. It's annoying and unfucking necessary. Anyway, I just had to get that off my chest. Thank you for watching.